Hi, my name is Kylie Christensen, and I decided to do a Who's the Fairest of Them All on humor. So I decided to do humor because I consider myself to be funny, so this one seemed very interesting to me. I scored a 60 on the scale, which means that I have high levels of humor throughout my conversations. So the scale basically goes 30 and below, you have low levels of humor communication. 30 to 60 is moderate, and 60 and above is high. So first I wanted to look at a few of the questions on the level. The first one is question number 4, and that one says, I can be amusing or humorous without having to tell a joke. So I found this question a little bit interesting because I find it a little bit harder to be funny when you're trying to crack a joke, like a scripted joke. I think it's better to just kind of be natural about it and crack a joke where you see it fit. And then the next one is number 12. I cannot be funny even when asked to do so. This is kind of the scripted aspect again. So I find it harder when someone says, say something funny or do something funny. It's harder to do things on the spot. It's better to be more natural. And I decided to look at humor as a means of communication through the source, the funny people, a source orientation to the communication of humor. So I used that in addition to the level, and a few things that I found interesting was that high humor-oriented people tend to employ diverse humor strategies across a variety of situations. So that basically means that you try and use humor in a lot of different situations of communication. You try a lot of different strategies of humor. So I feel like that means that you are more open to different situations, or at least that's how I perceived it. And lower levels tend not to try to employ humor, so they tend to not reach out into different levels or different kind of communication styles. Second, appropriate use of humor can lead to increased or more attitude change and compliance, as well as higher levels of perceived credibility. So cracking a well thought out joke can make people think that you are more credible or give you better perceived credibility. Third, I think this one is very interesting. Communication of humor has been found to be associated with other personality traits, such as extroversion and lower anxiety. I think that's very true, at least for me personally. I am a very extroverted person, very open to meeting new people and having new conversations. And so I think being an extroverted person means that you're open to trying more things and kind of open to maybe your joke getting shot down if it's not that funny. So you're more okay with the idea of using humor in conversations. Fourth, the study found that humorous orientation can be related to better communicator adaptability. So just being more ready to be in different situations and being able to adapt to new situations more easily. So then humor deliberately employed can clearly demonstrate your intelligence as a communicator as well. So if you can use humor throughout a conversation, it can show people that you are a high communicator in everyday situations, which I found very interesting. But I also found it interesting that most people tend to be receivers instead of sources of humor. So they tend to be the one to listen to the jokes instead of give them. And with all this amazing evidence of how humor can lead to better credibility, higher communicator intelligence, and better perceived credibility, to me it kind of seemed crazy that everyone doesn't try humor. So I think next time you're in a conversation, I would try demonstrating your levels of intelligence as a communicator by trying to crack a joke.